Good evening and happy Thursday, or some like to call it Friday Eve. I have my special guest tonight is none other than Michael Cook. Appreciate you jumping on, Mr. Cook. How have you been?
I've been good, Mike. How about you?
Oh, can't complain. What have you been up to since? If anybody doesn't know, Michael was at our festival, the Cryptid and Bigfoot Festival in August. And what have you been up to since?
Well, mainly just working and doing life, man. A lot of people don't realize that most of us have normal everyday jobs, and I'm no different. I work every day and work hard and try to keep Sasquatch up and never get a break. Never get a break.
Oh, I know you have a lot of irons in the fire too. Besides work with the
That's it.
sauce, your projects. I mean, anything. Moving on with some of the projects you want to talk about.
Yeah, we filmed well, I say filmed. I can't really film anything because I'm not a living, breathing Well, I guess I am a living, breathing cartoon character, but we recorded the intro theme song to Bigfoot and Friends, and we've got some dialogue recorded, and it looks like the first episode is pretty much ready to be added and premiered next. I think we're looking at March or April on Discovery Kids. So that was a wild experience. Never done anything like that before, as far as um, voice recording and voice acting and stuff like that. It was a learning curve, to say the least.
uh, how many episodes did you voice over?
Well, we just got the first episode done, and we'll be doing 12, I believe.
12.
12 or 14. I don't know. Yeah, I've seen 12, and I've seen 14. I know that I'm being paid for 14. So if we do 12, then I'm happy. If we do 20, then I'm not really happy.
Oh, well, that's an exciting opportunity you have there. I mean, and you've worked on other shows before, correct? I mean, Finding Bigfoot,
Yeah.
Expedition Bigfoot. You were on These
Yeah,
Woods Are Haunted.
I've worked on a bunch of shows, but never like an acting gig. I've always told people I'm not an actor whatsoever, but I wanted to break into it, and I wanted to do it, and I got this opportunity, and my manager, he was like, let's just go in and do an audition and be yourself. And once I done that, then it was pretty much hands down. They wanted me, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm not an actor. And they're like, you read off this, you learn these parts, and use your country twang, and that's how it's going to be. So that's exactly how it is. And I'm pretty excited. I know a lot of kids that are excited about it, and then I've got another project coming up. I really can't talk about, but it's a Animal Planet project and all this stuff. But that won't be until next year sometime. But we're not that far away from the South Carolina Bigfoot Festival.
Yeah, which is about another month, within a month. Or exactly
Yep,
a month, yeah. Yeah, if
exactly a
anybody's
month.
going to be in South Carolina, Westminster, I know Michael Cook will be there with Sasquatch, and you'll see him speak. Gwen and us with Got Knockers, and Gwen will be a speaker. I believe Terry Wendell will be a speaker. He's a good friend of ours as well. So, I mean, if you're in the area, swing on by. It's Friday night, Saturday. It's always a good time. It's a nice little town. I mean, I enjoy going there. So,
I do too. I love Westminster. I grew up down there, just a town over, and I spent a lot of my childhood down there, and nowadays I don't go down there much, but this time of year, and it's like going home. It really is, and the people are just so nice. They are the epitome of Southern hospitality.
no, absolutely. Yeah. That was one thing. The first time we were down there, the people were nice. The town's quaint, nice little one, the street. So I mean, it's a 10 and a half hour drive for us, but we enjoy it.
Yeah, it's just about 4 hours for me, but like you said, I enjoy it. I enjoy the drive is something I don't like driving. I hate driving. I drive every day and I hate driving. But the drive down there, when you get into the Carolinas and all this, it most beautiful earth. It really is.
Oh, I agree. I mean, we got the.
Did I lose you?
Nope, oh, you're good. You broke up there for a little bit about going through the Carolinas, but I got the gist. It was. I mean, we have to go through the great state of Virginia. Oh, that's the longest drive. I mean, to get down there. And when we go to Tennessee for the Smoky Mountain, I don't know. There's just something about driving in Virginia. It just seems like it never ends. If there was a portal, I would love to have it at the beginning and the end of
No.
Virginia. Be able to hit that.
81 north and south is the longest road on earth. And I don't care what people say that it's just so many 100 miles, but it feels like it's 15,000 miles. I feel like I could drive to the moon and before I could get down 81.
Yeah, if you ever been on 80, it's. I mean, I know here in Pennsylvania, it's a long, boring drive. There's exits every so many miles, like scattered, and it is a boring drive. At least 81 has exits every closer together, but man, 80 here in Pennsylvania is horrible as well.
I've driven 80. When we come up to Forest County, I drove 80 for a little while there, but uh, I drove I-80 through Iowa one time, and holy crap, it never ends. It's like 81. They never end. It's just a constant road, and that's it. When you think you're close to something, you are 1,000 miles away. And I don't know about you and Gwen, but like when I go on a trip, when I drive a trip or something, the last 50 miles feel like the longest. Like you're home, you start seeing familiar places, but that last 50 miles seems like it takes 10 days to get there.
I agree. And for us, depending where we're going, I mean, we do a couple 10-hour plus drives, and it is definitely a haul.
Yeah, I think one day, I have my pilot license and everything. I think one day though, if Sasquatch does well, I wouldn't mind buying a small plane of some sort, Cessna, something like that, just something very small like a 172, and fly to all these places. But God Almighty, man, I feel safer. It's bad when I feel safer a couple miles up than I do right on the highway. It only takes one time to get a fender bender in the air. Uh, you're you're not walking away from that one. um, but no, as far as like my stuff goes, I've got a book. I'm finalizing everything on it. Gwen is actually featured a lot in that book. You are featured a lot in that book. The Bigfoot Out of the Woods will be out here pretty soon. I'm not going to give a date, but we're finalizing some editing and all that stuff, and adding some pictures. And then I have a children's book coming out, a series coming out. It's called Big Adventures, and I should have it at least a couple of books in hand on hand to sell in South Carolina. We're looking at maybe by the end of this month.
Oh
I
wow.
will be. Yeah, it's. I've always wanted to do something children related, and this goes in. It's your normal children's books, but with Bigfoot as the main character. But he goes through stuff like making friends, and how it's okay to be different and weird. It deals with autism, where these creatures are, uh, could be. on the spectrum themselves, or something akin to it. So it I'm excited for it to get out and the kids to read it, and I've got a couple of teachers actually that have already signed on, and they're going to be featuring them in their classes. So
Oh, nice.
you know, by the grace of God and the powers of the universe, I'm hoping it gets me to where I don't get off at 7 o'clock at night anymore.
I hear you. I know that's what Gwen's goal is, to get off the ambulance and be able to not have a 12-hour, 24-hour shift. So, I
That's
mean,
that's the goal. That's it. These I've been doing this for so long, man. It just I don't. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and he was like, "What would you do if you were able to retire right now?" And I was like, "I've got a list. Uh, it's a pretty long list, but I would. I don't know. I know Gwen wants to become a full time Bigfoot researcher. I would prefer to do that, but I would also enjoy just living my life and speaking at these events and doing cartoon shows and TV shows and stuff. I would be all right with that if I were able to retire soon. Um,
oh, we might have lost Mike. But while we wait for Mike to come back, oh, there you are. Hey, oh, you are. We
yeah,
lost you for
I
a
had
second. You went
yeah,
black.
I had a phone call come in and I ignored it. So you're important.
Thank you. Well, how could you not? I'm like your twin brother. Look at him.
I mean, you are my stunt double.
That's right.
Uh,
So if you need anything, you let me know. I'll be there. I'll shave my head if I have to. I mean, that's not
oh,
a
you have
problem.
to. You have to. I'm actually getting ready to trim this down tonight. I think I'm ready to take a trim and get it off my face. I'm tired of looking like a homeless guy.
Oh, and then I see you'll be in the UK next year.
Yeah, well, Gwen and I both are invited to speak at that event over there. I'm actually going to be there the day before, God willing, the day before, after the conference and stuff, and after speaking, I'm going to spend a day with Daniel, and then I'm hopping on a train and I'm going to Scotland. I'm going to Loch Ness.
Oh yeah.
So, and I'm the way that my travel guy has got it, I will be flying into Heathrow, and then all that. I don't drive anywhere in international. I can't. My brain doesn't work right to drive. You and I had this conversation back when I was up there last. I can't. My brain does not comprehend driving on the left hand side of the road, and I can't do it. I physically cannot do it. I rented a car one time in the UK in London and made it 3 blocks, and I turned around, went back, got my money back, and called a cab. I can't do it. So I'll take a cab over to Somerset and Bridgewater, and then I'll be flying out of Edinburgh. So, which
No,
I've got
okay.
some other stuff going on then. I might not be flying back to the US then. I might be actually flying somewhere undisclosed and doing some other stuff. But yeah, as far as I know, I have got that. I've got the Marion, North Carolina festival to do next year. I'll be speaking at it. Uh, I think if she hasn't changed her mind, you know how your wife is. I think I am emceeing along with Sean Forker at your event next year.
Yes, I heard you're coming back for that.
And
So that'll be good. Yeah, that's the plan. Have you come back and have Sean Forker and UMC it. It's going to be. I don't know. You were at the first two, and I know she was like the first year when somebody said we had 5,000. We had a good crowd the first year. We had good weather, and she's like, "Oh, I think we're going to outgrow the park," and I'm like, "I don't think so." And then this year, so people estimated us between 7 and 7,500. We didn't outgrow it, even with that building being utilized by a small family Uh,
Yeah, that reunion.
yeah, that little reunion they tied up that whole building. Well, we got that next year, so that's a tent. That's a 100 by 70 building. Oh, so yeah, we're not gonna outgrow it. And then I know we have some uh, good people coming as well. You know, Ronnie LeBlanc, RPG, Daniel Lee from the UK is going to be there. So yeah, he's coming.
Uh, Terry Wendell, he'll be
Sarah
there.
Windle, yep, yeah. So it's going to be oh, Brian King Sharp. So yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah.
And if we get more than 7,000, I have no doubt in my mind we could handle 10,000 plus people. So I'm really hoping that people come, people blow it out of the water. Also, I would like to figure a way, but there's just no. You've seen the place. There's no way to corral people into coming in one way. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, because that would be the ultimate way of saying, okay, we had X amount of people for sure. But I mean, I let people know when we tell these numbers. Uh, it's not Gwen and I giving out these numbers, so people think, oh, you're inflating them. No, we have people tell us like, hey, I think you had a good turnout. This is what it looked like you had.
Well, that's like me last year. I think I was the first one to say that it was 5,000 because I work a lot with math and stuff, and my brain is wired mathematically. So yeah, I look at if you have 10 people per booth at one time, and you have 80 some booths, um, and then you account for the people between, say, couple hundred, 300, 400. It
Mm-hmm.
was around 5,000, and that's given all day long. Um, that's all day long at that event. So yeah, about 5,000 this year, even with the rain, and the rain held off until the last hour or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But it was beautiful. It was nice. I think your cap would probably be around 10,000 in that location. I think Gwen and I've talked about that. It's 10,000. If it grows past 10,000, then yes, we will have to look at other locations.
mm-hmm.
At that point, it actually gets a little bit dangerous. And you being a firefighter and us being in medical, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
You can't corral people, and there's been several instances at these festivals and stuff where somebody gets hurt or goes into a medical event, and they can't even get an ambulance in because of the amount of people that's in there. We got into a situation up in West Virginia this past year where several people came under heat related illnesses, but this particular girl, her name was Olivia, she went down with what was so close to being a heat stroke she could taste it. And the first medical person they see, they holler at Ron Howells that does Biker Bigfoot. He came and grabbed me and he said, "Mike, you got to get over here. This girl's having some kind of medical emergency." And I said, "Well, like how?" And he told me, and I snapped right into medical. Here we go. And that was one time where I can say, well, I can say it several times, but Ernie Brown, Turtle Man, everybody knows. Turtle Man came up to me, he said, "Mike, is she all right?" And I said, "Well, Ernie, she's trying to have a heat stroke, and we need to get her cooled down." People trying to give her cold water, and I was shooing them away. I said, "No, no, 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 you can't give this girl cold water. It'll put her in shock."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but Ernie came over and he had a cool towel and everything. And the kicker was the girl was waiting in line to see him and the guys from Mountain Monsters. And when she came to and started realizing what was going on, uh, she looked around and she got starstruck because Ernie was standing there. And folks, I say Ernie because I've known Turtle Man for 15, 16 years. But and I walked out and told everybody. I said, "Hey, listen. Now I'm talking a couple hundred, 400 people in line." I said, "Listen, if anybody gets nauseous, starts sweating, cold sweats and stuff like this, these people are going to be here all day. They will be here until the the last person is seen. They care about the fans more than anything. So if you get sick, if you start feeling like you're going to pass out, go sit down, go get you some water, get out of line. You don't have to wait in line to see these people. And but when that goes to that whole thing, you get into a dangerous situation
Mm-hmm.
with that amount of people, and that amount of people was 15,000 plus.
Wow.
So 10,000 would probably be the cap at the Pennsylvania event. And it's not a bad thing to grow and move into a different location. That's good. That means you're growing.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
but Gwen, I told her last year before the show, before the festival, I told her, I said, Gwen, listen, and you know how you live with her, you know how she is. And she's like my little big sister. Um I told her, I said, honey, listen, if you get 500 people tomorrow, 500 people, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
did not fail. The only way you fail is to get no people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And damned if she didn't pull in 5 grand. And that's a pretty good amount of people. I don't know if anybody, you've been to concerts and stuff and ball games where there's 50,000 people plus. And uh no, I see that.
She said, "Choose your words carefully." She's a watching. But no,
I feel like
I agree. It's
I
you
feel
know,
like one day I feel like one day I'm going to get out of the shower and I'm going to put on my little robe and I'm going to walk out and she's going to be like standing there in my spare bedroom going, "Get some clothes on. We just got here."
well, it'll be payback from the first time we met you in South Carolina when you're like, hey,
Yeah.
but no, it's um, we talked about possible venues. Another thing, this year's venue, there was a gentleman who's like the manager of this town, Shamokin, and he was talking to us about possibly if we'd want to, partner up with him, they would close the town down and have it, sort of like Westminster. My thing is like parking. There's not if like for instance, if you get like 7,000, 10,000 people, parking is there's a small parking lot. It would just be I don't know where you'd park people. Like here, at least at
Oh,
our venue now, we have all that grass and stuff like that. And
I'm not bad mouthing them by no means, but like up in Forest County, they crammed so much into so little space, and then the parking was a friggin' nightmare. And then we're
mhm,
talking about a town that 200 people live in, and then all of a sudden, one day a year, 50,000 plus parade in there. And that was a nightmare. But Westminster, they have all those parking lots and stuff that allow for festival parking, and that's a really good town that goes with the festival and doesn't fight them and all this stuff. Um, you I've even thought, about like football fields, like high school stadiums and stuff like that. You could fit vendors in there, but then you get, like you said, you get into that problem of parking. And for the most part, a lot of high school schools don't have 400 or 500 parking places. So what are you going to do with 10,000 people?
yeah, yeah,
But then you get into a situation kind of like Westminster. They actually have a shuttle that runs back and forth. I didn't know that until I think it was last year. I seen a shuttle shuttling people, and I think Marion does that too out in North Carolina. They shuttle people, but I'm kind of like this. If I want to go to my truck and get something, I don't really want to have to take a ride to my truck.
right, right,
I'm not going. I'm not going to Disney or anything. I don't need to take a shuttle or a monorail to my vehicle. I want to walk to my vehicle, and up in Forest County, I mean it was every bit of a half mile or more to get to my vehicle, and they would not let us park near the festival at all. Well, wouldn't let me, but I'm nobody.
Yeah, it would be something, and especially people who, depending on how long that shuttle ride is, you know, if they're going to be buying things and have to take it back to their car, So, I mean, that's a nice thing about our venue. I mean, we'll see next year. Hopefully, we get the people. Plus, I mean, I know the first year I was nervous, like you said, 500 or 5,000. I was just, like not having anything on this side of the state. Everything is Western PA, Virginia, West Virginia. Um, it was like, hey, what are we going to get? And like, I don't know how it was going to be received. And it was great. That was with 23 vendors. This year, she went overboard with 100 vendors. And I was like, oh, I was nervous as well, because I'm like, we need every bit of those 5,000 people back and more to support the people that were there. And again, it turned out great. I know I heard from people that they'll be coming back next year. I mean, we had people come up to my booth before 11 o'clock in the morning going, how can I get signed up for next year? I do these 8-foot cutouts, 3/4 inch treated plywood. And he's like, I want to sign up. I'm like, give her a couple days after this. It'll be up on our website to go ahead and sign up. And I am, and then a friend of ours who does our little foots, and she does that. So she was like, she was $100 short of doubling the money that she made last year. So as
You
far as,
saw, you
yeah,
all were tied to me. I sold out of barbecue sauce. The last bottles went out when it was raining,
yeah,
and I brung close to 400 bottles. So, um, it you never know, and that's like I told Gwen, and anybody that's got any common sense knows this. You don't know what the weather's going to do. You don't.
oh yeah,
Your everything hinges on the weather,
oh yeah,
and for an outdoor festival, and even sometimes with indoor festivals, people don't want to drive in the rain or get out and walk to the venue in the rain or anything like that. But there's, you're it's a gamble, and it's a big gamble.
it
But
is.
damn, if she hasn't succeeded the last 2 years, and I truly believe with the amount of fans that Expedition Bigfoot has had, and Ronnie LeBlanc's his fan numbers and stuff, I think there's going to be a lot. And in Ryan RPG, you cannot beat a better guy. Like that guy is real. He's awesome.
Yep, yeah.
Um,
He is
and
real down
Terry,
to earth and cool. I mean, it is, yeah, yeah.
Terry Wendell, he is such a good speaker.
Hmm.
Um, and Terry and I, we've had our own experiences together. We're actually piggybacking on each other for Westminster. We are. I will start telling what happened 2 years ago, and Terry's going to walk in and take over and do his speaking spot as soon as where I left off at. And we actually done that in Forest County, and it worked out very well. But then you have Daniel. He is such a good kid. Um, that kid has a big, huge future ahead of him in
Oh
this
yeah,
in this weirdness. He is such a good kid. He is, and he's smart as a tack, and he uses his, I don't want to say disability, but he uses his being different as an extra ability, and that's what we need in this stuff. We need more people like Daniel that
yeah,
can look at it at a different in a different view, if that makes any sense. And that's where the the newest presentation of mine is called Bigfoot Revolution. Um, the It's more of the evolution of where we are and how we are doing now. and where we're going. And that's something I hit on so much with this research. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be around forever. That's not unfortunate. I don't want to be around forever. I'm almost done with this planet anyway. I'd love to figure out how to get off of the planet without dying. But the here in 40 years, I don't really want to be alive. I don't want to live past 80. That's a good wholesome number at 80. If I make it to 80, I'm winning. That's
There
how it
we
is.
go.
But it's the kids like Daniel
Yes.
and these other kids that's going to take over for Gwen and I and Terry and Ronnie and Ryan and Cliff and Bobo and all the others. They're going to take over
Yeah.
for
He
us.
is he
And
is incredible. Like, I mean, like I know when Gwen did his show and it aired Christmas, she was in contact with him, and then when he asked her to come over, I mean, uh we actually I don't have the vacation time that she could just take off because they could work around their schedule. I mean, we had Mardi Gras, we had a cruise booked in April, and I said, "There's no way I have time in July." Just like next year, I don't think I'm going to make the trip, which really it pains me, not because like I said, but going over there meeting Daniel and his family. I mean, it was almost like we've known them forever with the way they welcomed us. Talk about Southern hospitality. Their hospitality in the UK was just as incredible. His father, his grandmother, his grandfather. I mean, yeah. Um,
well,
I mean, unfortunately,
the good thing is Gwen's going to be with us, and she'll be in good hands. And my travel um my travel plans are flexible. Like if I can find, depending on where she flies out of, I don't know if Philadelphia or New York, whichever one, or even Baltimore, but it ain't out of the question for me to drive up and then fly out with her. But we're going to be together no matter what when we get
yeah.
over there. Um, but it. I can't wait. It's been a long time since I've been over there, and I've got several friends that live in the UK, and I got friends that live in Scotland, and I'm not going to be able to go to Ireland on this trip. I really wish I could, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. But I'm going up to Scotland and going to Loch Ness, so
That's cool. That sounds fun.
yeah, I'm going to dip my toes in the water of Loch Ness and hope Nessie eats me. But
Yeah, the trains are nice.
anyway,
I mean, yeah.
yeah. Anyway, Mike, I think I'm home. I just
Yep.
have pulled in. I'm going to have to cut my time short for the night, but I do have an event before South Carolina. It's at the Wintergreen Resort in Virginia. I'm not for sure what the name of the town is. I don't know, but it's Wintergreen Resort Bigfoot Festival, and I will be speaking there on September 28th, along with several others. And if uh, if you're in the area, you want to go squatching, I think Daniel Benoit and I are going out squatching that Friday night before the festival on Saturday.
Do you know the date?
So September 27th and 28th. So I'll
Oh,
be out
we're going to be
squatching.
in Western PA that weekend. I can't remember which one she's speaking at. She'll probably
She's
type
got
one.
something because she was invited to speak at this one, and she had this one come up, or that one was already scheduled.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but anyway, I'm sorry that we've not really talked about any of that. I like this though. This has been one of the best shows. I like to shoot the bull
Exactly. I mean,
and
there's
catch
nothing
up.
scripted here. I mean, paranormal, Bigfoot, all that good stuff. It's all good. I mean, I appreciate you jumping. Oh, it's in Johnstown that we're gonna be at. She's gonna be
Yeah,
speaking
yeah.
Johnstown. So yeah, and then we have Westminster and all that. Yeah, so that's coming
Yeah,
right up.
I actually will be flying out 3 or 4 days after Westminster. I got to go to Oregon for a few days. Well, actually about a week, and meet up with some guys discuss some things. But I think I'm meeting up with Bobo and Cliff out there during that time, and we're gonna tour Cliff's museum and do a little squatching while I'm out there. So it'll be a fun time. And folks, you can see me on travel channels. These Woods Are Haunted. I'm on a couple of episodes in the background of Expedition Unknown and Paranormal Caught on Camera and all that crap. So I don't reimburse for broken TV sets whenever you see me on your TV. So that being said, get a hold of somebody else.
Well, it was a pleasure having you. And hey, one other question: are you going to prepare yourself for that Armageddon challenge next year?
No. Mm-mm.
No.
Folks, what he's talking about is I'm an idiot. Like, I'm very intelligent, but I'm stupid. And we were at this bar, and I walked in and peed, and I came back through and seen this T-shirt that said "I survived Armageddon," and I was like, "How do I get one of those T-shirts?" And they said, "You got to eat a burger with this Armageddon sauce on it." So I said, "Well, why don't you bring me a little thing of fries and some of that sauce? Let me see how it is, because I make hot sauce for a living, and I've never met a pepper I can't eat." And so they brung out a little thing of fries and what was it? Maybe a teaspoon of this sauce.
Oh yeah, yeah. A couple fries. Yeah.
And I doused one of those fries in this stuff. Y'all listen, I've ate some hot stuff in my life. That was the only thing that ever made my heart hurt. Like, I had to literally go in. Mike was loving every minute of it.
Oh no, no.
I went in.
I truly was concerned because I am telling you right now, that's one thing I wasn't going to be your stunt double in. There is no way in hell. I mean, hell, no way. I was just checking on my other half because. And by the way, I'll give a plug. It was the nickel plate at the
Yeah.
Knoebels Golf Course in Elysburg. So if anybody's there and you like a hot challenge, they have a challenge. You got it. Now here's the deal: you got to eat a burger with this Armageddon sauce and the fries with the Armageddon sauce. And I think you had, I want to say 30 minutes to
Yeah, it
eat
was
it,
something
but you
ridiculous.
had to eat it without drinking any milk or anything. You could drink water, but I don't think you could have milk for the heat. You had to eat it, and then you got your picture and a T-shirt, and you got your name on a wall. But yeah, when
And there's only been the manager told me, he's like, "Yeah, man, there's been like 80 people do this, and only two or three have passed." And I'm like, "Thanks, man, for giving me the heads up." I mean, but I went in and they had a glass of milk ready for me, and I drunk half of that milk, and then I realized that that milk had hit enough beer to put down a bull elephant, and what I'd ate before. And I was like, "Oh God, I'm going to throw up." And I went and threw up in everything that I'd ate. And it did not cool down whatsoever coming back out. Either end. The next day was awful. Um, the Then I was like, "It's still burning. Do you have Cool Whip?" And they're like, "Yep." So I got a bowl of Cool Whip, and I ate the bowl of Cool Whip, and it finally calmed down. But
well,
like 30 minutes later, I'm laying on the golf course looking at the stars with my hippie friends.
the
So
waitress came out and goes, I think you might want to go check on your friend. He's throwing up in there. I said, okay. So I kind of came in and you weren't. I'm like, hey, buddy, you need help? You're like, I'm good. I'm like, but you were sweating so much, I think your head lost a pound or two because you were, I mean, your head was wet. I mean,
it was
just
rough, man.
but
That's
in
a
all defense, I mean, what did she say? When you asked what kind of pepper, she's like, I think jalapeno. She's like, maybe a ghost reaper. And you're like, oh, hell. And then Mr. Cook says, well, what would I get if I ate two meals? And a
man.
French fry
If
later, he was boom, TK'd. But you see that freshest comment, Armageddon sauce. Geez, just on the sound of that, I've soiled myself.
let me tell you something, dude. When it came out the next day, it didn't calm down a bit. It was rough.
Oh, and then him, I
But
can see why the man's bald. It would have
I
taken
tell
your
you
hair
what,
off.
I tell you what, anybody that wants to take that challenge next year, I tell you what, I will make you this offer. I will buy you a Got Knockers baseball bat, and I will give you a sauce pack from Sasquatch, along with your T-shirt from the Nickel Plate. If you want to take that challenge and eat that burger and do that crap, I will buy you a Got Knockers baseball bat, a pack of sauce, and you'll get your T-shirt there too. So you want to take that challenge? Get up with me next year when I'm at the festival, and we will put it down.
That's right. We'll make sure we are there the night before, like we were. Open it up to anybody who wants to come on down and give it a
Oh yeah.
shot. Yeah, let's see. You train sucking volcanic rock. You Americans are crazy with that hot shit, he said. That French. Well, I mean, I can do jalapeno. I'm ghost pepper, but man, I don't know. The smell of that stuff, was making my eyes burn. After you left, because I'm like looking at it and they're going to try. I'm like, I'm not trying it. I mean, that was wild. That was wild. But
I'll tell you what, I'll give anybody $1,000 if they want to take an Armageddon enema.
wow, talk about eating the inside out. That'll ruin the colon line. We might have to have Gwen in her opinion. She works in endoscopy to see like just what could damage the colon if you did that.
Yeah, it probably put a blister or two on the old roids, but $1,000 is $1,000, y'all.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll give it to you cold cash money with no paper trail. You just gotta let me do it. I have to be there to do it. I'll even water it down for you and make it go in easier. But it's
Melissa says try the Carolina Reaper.
I make hot sauce out of Carolina Reaper, and I've licked my fingers with Carolina Reaper on it. There's something that is different about the Armageddon sauce. It has pepper oil in it. It has ghost pepper oil in it. So the oil, it adheres to your mouth,
Mm.
and you can't get it off with just drinking milk or anything like that. You got to have oil on oil. Period. So Cool Whip has oil in it,
Yeah.
and that will remove that sting. But good Lord, $1,000 enema. That's all you got to do, and you got to sign a waiver too. I ain't being responsible for anything like that. But I'm hopping off here. I'm going to go cook and shower and eat and
What are
probably
you
die
making
from
good?
that.
Maybe I'll stop on over.
I'm having Philly cheesesteak pasta.
Philly cheesesteak pasta. Do elaborate
I
on that for a minute, because
I make so you make the Philly cheesesteak with the peppers and the onions and the shaved ribeye,
mm-hmm.
and then you put your cheese in it and stuff, and then I put just a little bit of beef broth in it and get it cooked down where it makes like a little roux, and then I add rigatoni pasta and a little tiny dab of tomato sauce, and it's fantastic. It's just really good.
Interesting. I'd never heard of it, and that sounds really good. If you were close, I'd be driving on over. But
One day we might be close. You never know.
that's right. Melissa said, "Eat a slice of bread," and then that fresh said, "Crazy across the pond." Yeah, that was a wild night. But yeah, I'll let you go. I know it's 7:45, and try to keep it under an hour at an hour. So thanks for jumping on.
All
Just
right, man.
shooting the shit, and you have a good night, and we'll catch up with you in a month.
All righty, brother. See you
All
then.
right, we're gonna take us out, everybody. Thanks, Fresh and Melissa and Dave for joining. Let's take this in the show. And my wife Gwen, can't forget her. She'll hang me when I get off this.
This has been a CARC Universal production.
All right, that's a wrap, and I appreciate you joining us on Paranormal Files Into the Darkness, where sometimes you get paranormal files and sometimes you just get catching up with friends. If you have an experience that you want to share, reach out to me at carc.michael. Oh my God, I don't even know my email. Hold on a second. It is, yes, CARCM Purcell, PURCELL @gmail.com. Sorry for that little fumble at the end. I'm new to having that email. So if you have any paranormal, Bigfoot, you name it, any kind of experience, feel free to reach out to me to be a guest. We do this every other Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, but I'm more than happy to adjust the time if you're in a different time zone or you can't make it, or if you want to do pre-record it, we can do that too. I prefer live because I do enjoy interacting with the folks like Melissa, David, Gwen, and that's fresh. And you take care as well. And everybody have a good night. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you, next in 2 weeks. We are going to have, let me get my calendar. We are going to have Jeffrey Jowett on. So check that out. And appreciate you tuning in. Have a good night.